the
What do I
scenes.
wear? How do you
It
look? What do you
doesn't
wear? What
push
props we
it
have? What
into the
order we have? How the
breakdown. It
set
was
look?
crucial for us
All
to
of those
create a
aspects are
platform
creative aspect
that
that
you
has a
control the
lot of
technology and
influence on
not
the
vice
experience
versa.
of the viewer.
So it gives it
So
suggestion,
we
and then
believe
you
that it
can
is a
add it to your
combination.
breakdown.
The AI will
For
suggest,
example, we
and
did
you will
another one
direct
on
it
makeup
and
and
put
wardrobe.
your creative
So
vision.
wardrobe, so we have all of the wardrobe elements, and also, for example, over here, so the harness and the belt and the wet, it also understands the context of the scene, and if the scene has rain, it will recommend soaking wet clothes as well. If it will see a police officer or a doctor, it will recommend the conventional attire for those professions as well. You can go, for example, for intimacy that we did. Of course, whether it's hug, kiss, nudity, everything that will be inside. So the goal is to create an algorithm or a system that can help you through the technical process of the analysis. And then you can control and say, okay, I want to add this one and this one into my breakdown. I will know that it finds over 90% of the entire breakdown. Some elements are derived from continuity, of course, won't necessarily appear in the scene, and you need to work together. But the goal is to reduce significant amount of the pre-production process. So using imgn, from uploading a script, you can create a full breakdown and initial scheduling in 1 or 2 days instead of 2 or 3 weeks. Going to other areas. So we talked about, for example, the breakdown and also script coverage. So if you want to do an analysis of your script, you can go over here, press the script coverage. It will give you all of the header information, log line, synopsis, main character and supporting character descriptions, main story hooks, comments and analysis, example of likeliness. You just need to press this button. In about 30 seconds, it will create a book report, a script coverage of your script. Of course, when you upload a revised script, you can initiate this action again. So this is not editable. In other area, it's editable, but actually you are right. We need to make it editable. Yes.
How do you how are you comparing? Because like green lights a very popular script coverage, and that's just what they did. So how do you compare it to service like that?
So the way we train the model and the prompt on script coverage, we took a lot of online available script coverage. Also very important, we are not sharing information between production company, and we are not using your information to train our models. We are only training the models and using what's available online. We believe that your data and your production is yours. We don't even have access to it. So if you upload a script, we can't even see it. So we did a comparison of a lot of script coverages, and of course, script coverage is subjective, is not objective. We are always doing sort of optimization, but we train it a lot on hundreds of different script coverage that we find available online. Moving from script coverage into different area of reproduction, so we can go into the shooting day. So in the shooting days, you have several views. One, of course, is the calendar view. You can control the information you see online, you see on the screen. I can minimize everything. And this set grouping, it's not a shooting schedule. A shooting schedule, you will always need a person. Sometimes you have different scenes that all of them will be in a studio. The AI can't know it, and sometimes there are one-off scenes that only a professional will know where to put them, but it does the set grouping, basically the initial work, and then you can start breaking and merging all of the information together. So this is the set grouping it does. You have, of course, a secondary view that you can use, the strip view, the more regular conventional view, but you have both options. And then we've built a third view, which is an interactive map to control of your shooting schedule. So we gave an example over here. We connected the dress we're going to see in a second to our shooting schedule. And I have an interactive map over here that I can control all of my shooting days. If you want, you can also do commuting calculation. If you want to understand how long it will take to drive from your warehouse to the shooting day. And even if you want to search for accommodation for a specific day, you can also do it from here and also control on an interactive map all of your shooting days locations. So those are the three views that we have here on the shooting side. Going to other area of the production workflow, so casting and side management. Over here, we aggregate all of the characters and all of the meta information. You have minimum view or full view if you want to say all of the day out of day, including all of their scenes. Um, Black scenes are scenes with dialogue, gray scenes are scenes without dialogue that the actors is participating. And of course, you can export sides over here, so you don't need to use a different software. The sides are being compiled automatically from the breakdown in the board for each one of the character, whether it's by episode or by shooting day. So reducing the need of the second AD to compile and create a file for each one of the actors, and of course send it to them. You have it here automatically. When you upload a revision script, when all of the information is being updated, this is being updated as well. And another feature we did for casting director is character description. So over here, you can generate a description of a character, and whether it's the physical appearance, personality trait, background, motivation, role in the story. So a lot of information for the production and casting director that you can immediately share with the agency as well to understand which actors you want to bring to the audition. This section is very short, so let's try to do it in bow. Now we are working, as noted, on the trailer builder feature, and part of the trailer builder feature that we are working on is using this information to create character prototypes. One of the big problems, especially when using generative AI, is that there is no consistency, especially when you take it from the script, the character description is not recurring. So we are now using this information for you to design the prototype of the characters, and then when you're going to use it in your storyboard, video board, and trailer, you will create consistency throughout your work. So that's over here. And then we can go to our set and scouting area. So imagine aggregate all of the different sets from your script. This is of course also automatically with a lot of metadata. So you have the characters, how many scenes they have in each set, their day out of day, scene count, day count, external, internal. Of course, you can add restriction, also export sides. You can connect sets into a physical location. Over here, we connected the church to the TLC Chinese Theater and mail drives. If you add an address, so not only as you saw, it connects to your shooting schedule, but we also automatically take all of the available picture online. Of course, you can add as many attachments as you want, so the communication between you and the scouter is direct. They upload it to the system, and then you can see it immediately. Another advantage is that Imagine become your ever-growing production database. If today most of the information is being scattered in different Google Drives, which is very hard to remember where you put it in, everything will be over here for you to use not only in this production, but also in future production. And another feature we've built is scouting. So now I can do even scouting everywhere in the world for my set. So this is one example I did for the diner. So we did a search in Hollywood, LA, and it gave us several options. Mails drive-in, and it gives a lot of information about specific locations, of course, description, characteristic, if something was shot there, and contact information. Let's try to do a test over here of the church. Anybody want to choose a country in the world or a state in America or a specific city to scout the church for? Paris. Let's do Paris. Why not? Lots of church. And, okay, let's initiate and then let's do Paris. That's the three options. So when you initiate the scouting mechanism, what we are doing now is that we are reading all of the set scenes over here, compile the characteristic of those sets, and searching for specific places that will correlate with the specific needs of the set. This is a Gothic church, I think, so it will search for Gothic church. The diner in the script is a small American diner. This is why it gave us, for example, male diners. It won't suggest high-end 5 Michelin starred restaurant. It will give you suggestion according to what you're searching. The goal here is that you can start initiating your scouting process even before you have a scouter, whether it's later on to work with the scouter to look for those places and go and check their availability and cost, or just for inspiration. If you want to say, okay, let's see what can what can resemble what I'm looking for, so it can do that as well. Let's wait a couple of more seconds. Oh, great. That will be good until it will finish. Yes.
Is it just scouting like or just looking at any location or is it specifically looking at locations that are known to allow you to shoot at? So like it's not going to be super helpful if it's like, you know, go shoot at the Notre Dame and you're like, sure.
So it might also recommend berries. Of course, you can initiate as many searches as you want. So it gave us the sensor per church. It gave us location description, of course, characteristic if something was shot there, the Da Vinci over here, and contact information. So you already have the address, the phone number, the website, and the municipality in charge with pictures. So in the movie, it's like a Gothic big church. So this is what it gave us over here. And you can initiate, as noted before, as many searches as you want in different places in the world. So also taking the scouting process and increasing the capacity of the production company to not only initiate more searches immediately, but also for inspiration if you want to do some pre-visualization. So this was the scouting area. So we went through the breakdown with automatic.
For the locations, is there an option to put your budget for the location, or does it show you what it might cost or the bracket?
So currently not, because here, of course, there is more part of negotiation and availability. So we are not touching it here. We will try in the future to do some estimation, but it will be very, very complicated. But we will try to do something later on.
Okay, thank you.
This all seems really cool and all, but are you not worried about how detailed the creative process is your own human brain and how much this is taking away from the actual art form of filmmaking?
So the answer is yes. Almost everything we saw now was more of a technical aspect. So if you need to take the script and break it down into scenes, it's a technical aspect. Although synopsis has sort of creative part, but it's also more technical. Of course, scouting is technical. What you will choose is part of the creative decision. We just want to give you the options so you can choose from. And as noted before, very crucial for us to build a software that you control and not vice versa. So I will touch one feature that we have, which correlate with your question, that has not only technicality, but also creative part, which is the shot list for camera. So this is feature that we were asked from DPs and director to create an automatic shot list for scenes. So I can basically, for all of my scenes, generate a shot list. This is what the algorithm generated over here. So it gives you a suggestion. It broke this in, it's a page and a bit, to 10 different shots with a lot of suggestion. But those are suggestions. Now the DP can go and edit the information. So here we have an edit option. And then you can go and edit the information. So if you want to use a different camera or a different, of course, camera angle, or you want to change the set environment and all of the information, you can do it. Our goal is to sort of do the initial push to give suggestion, and then the creative can change it the way they see fit. Because without the creative part, basically everything will look the same. And it's crucial for the filmmakers to put the creative aspect into the process, but we do want to take the technical aspect and give suggestions so it will be much faster to get to the result that you want. If that answered the question.
A little bit.
Thank you.
Hi. Two questions. First, when it comes to like locations and trying to searching, obviously you need to be online, but how much of the software can be used offline without an internet connection? Can you still use the budgeting aspect, the scheduling aspect, anything with the script that you don't need online elements?
So not now, but in a couple of weeks, yes, we are now working on an offline mode. Is of course offline mode is a necessity, is not a nice to have. You would be able to work on everything when you're on offline mode. The information will be, of course, saved on locally on your computer, and then will be uploaded to the rest of the crew members that are using Imagine when you go online.
And then two more quick questions. For for the scheduling aspect and when you're budgeting, are you looking at element linking? So like let's say for like The Walking Dead, Daryl always has a crossbow. We may only hear the mention of the element when he's introduced, but then do you have a way to link all the props, all the wardrobe, so it's every time that he appears, so this way it's not an oversight?
So yes, so over here, let's go for the element, for example. So I'm separating hunt. Let's open the editing side. So if I will double click, I will have this toolbar over here that I can remove or add elements.
Hmm.
And then I can add a specific element to a script date, to a character, to a set name, or a combination of both. Sometimes a watch will be with the character throughout the script, sometimes maybe in a specific scene or a script day. So here what we did is we broke all of the information, and you can decide what type of filter, and then it will present you the scene, and you can just approve, and it will automatically put the elements in the relevant places.
Great. And then my last question is, are you able to export a .sex or XML file so this way we can use it in conjunction with Movie Magic?
So not necessarily currently with Movie Magic. We are working on being compatible with Movie Magic budgeting. And with the scheduling, it's a bit problematic because not only we have the script inside, there is a lot of information that you don't have in Movie Magic. So it's a bit hard to do it compatible with the scheduling. But as noted before, we believe it's your data, your production, your information, where in Movie Magic you can just download MMS file, which is a closed file, or a PDF that is very hard to work on. Our report are docs or Excel. So it depends, of course, on the information. So you can download it, you can edit it, and you can share it with everybody you want.
Do you have a scheduling aspect or side to like when you're building out your one-liner shooting schedule?
You're talking about the strip view?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have over here a strip view
Okay.
that you can use, which is more similar to Movie Magic.
Okay. Thank you.
I was wondering, as far as the access to the platform and for each project, can it be multiple people working on it simultaneously? Can we have people that can only view it and others edit it? How does it work?
So a very crucial question. To date, we have over 200 productions that have used Imagine globally, and on average, there are between, let's say, 5 to 15 different crew members using on every production. And the way we've built the permission system is a bit different. So the way we've built it over here, you have a permission groups. So you can build as many permission groups as you want, and for each permission group, you can build what the permission you want to give. Of course, here you have all of the aspect of the side menu. You can build a new group and decide whether it's read, write, and of course, export. It's a whole different permission. And then when you invite someone into the project over here in the teams, so this is the only way to get into a project is getting an invite from the admin through the project. And then when you invite someone, you connect him to a specific permission group, and the side menu will be different. So the way we've built it, if somebody doesn't have a permission to go into the breakdown or the budget, they won't even see it on their side menu. So it's not disabled, it's just not there. And so then people can work in different areas without touching each other work or getting or seeing information you don't want them to see. I won't go over the production report. We have call sheet, the out of day, department, DPR, everything in one place. I will show one thing about our day out of day. So the day out of day, we have several views that we've built, which is designed to optimize cost. And so this is the more conventional day out of day view where we have all of the characters. We had a day count, scene count, and of course you can see start work, work end. We did add when you hover all of the scene of a specific day, but when we work with a lot of whether it's UPM, line producer, or producer, they ask us for a view to optimize for cost. And because if somebody is coming for 1 scene a day or 5 scene a day, it's very crucial to decide how you want to build your board. And this is not available when you only see letters. So what we did is we build a numerical view. And over here, you can see how many scenes each character or actor has in a specific day. And let's say, for example, you want to optimize, making sure nobody is coming for 1 scene a day, and you want to see it visually. So you just press the number and all of the correlating number lead up. So immediately after you build the board, you can see the producer and the AD and see where you want to optimize. Later on, we will build a mechanism that will suggest according to your sort of parameters. So if you want to make an optimization, so nobody will work 1 scene a day, it will give suggestion how you can adjust the board, and then you can control and decide whether it's relevant or not for you. And we have different day out of day views. This is by shooting day, you have by location, overtime, first, last, start, end, episode, and of course department. And you can see all of your element of a different department as a day-to-day view as well. Now let's go to the more heavy visual generative AI part. So we have the storyboard. we have a couple of minutes, so we can actually generate something. This is an example we did. I will show you the example where you can generate. So this is an example, the first scene where they are in the outdoor. This was generated with 2 clicks of a button. I just pressed, it gave suggestion, and I did create. Of course, if you want, you can edit the information. This is going into your question about the visual, the creative process. It gives a suggestion, and then you can, it's not the one, and then you can, of course, change all of the information. We're going to do an example in a second. And after, you can also create video board. So over here, we are working with all of the different model. Another advantage of using imgn in the generative AI process is that we aggregate dozens of different models. So you don't need to go from a different app to a different app and break your script every time. Everything is aggregated and you can choose what you want to work on. So this is one example that we said, look up and shout. And yes, I also write that rain's falling down. So what we have over here already in the pre-visualization part is the storyboard side. Also, we have set location image. So if, for example, I want to create church or diner, what to create? Church or diner? Let's do the diner. So let's go to the diner. Let's use DALL-E to do something a bit more image-like and create a shot. When we first integrated all of the visual generative AI models, the goal was to give you a tool to do pre-visualization. So you can do pre-visualization of set, you can do pre-visualization of scenes, and save a lot of time also in the setup and the preparation process when you go into the shooting schedule, in the shooting day themselves. And now when we are working, of course, on the trailer builder, it will also use all of these capabilities for the marketing side as well. So if you want to go in like everybody is raising money, then you can enhance your marketing package using the trailer builder feature. And as noted before, we are also adding a character prototype builder. So you can design how you want to see the character, whether it's by reference or design from scratch, to have consistency throughout the storyboard and the process. So as you see, it's a small American diner. If it was a fancy restaurant, it would create a fancy restaurant. And the name over here, Mom and Pop, is not a random name. That's the name of the diner from the script. So not only it create the image based on the characteristic, but it also take the information. If you have a name or a tagline, it will add it as well. So that's in the set location area. DALL-E is better, although they now introduced a new model. DALL-E is better in image, drawing-like. Stable Diffusion, Flux, Kling are better if you want to create a photorealistic picture of the area. Okay, we have, I think, like 3 or 4 minutes left. Any questions you want to ask or stuff that you want to see? No, we don't use Unreal Engine. We use the generative AI model. Yeah.
I have a question that's not necessarily technical, but more about maybe the social aspect of it. But do you encounter more criticism or more of a curious, enthusiastic attitude when it comes to these sort of tools? Because I can imagine people get easily scared about this process, impairing the creative process and so on.
So yes, as I started the presentation, we got booed the opening night because we have a tagline of using AI. There is a lot of concerns. There is a lot of concerns, and it's very reasonable concerns. We had it in general with technology throughout the phases. We introduced the mock synthesizer in our journey. When the synthesizer were introduced at the late 60s, a lot of people said that this is the end of live music. No live music will be used, whether it's for film or in general creation of music. And now we know 50 years later that the digital and the live were merged into one creation. So composers are using both digital and both live orchestra. We believe this will be the future. People might think that you can upload a script and you get a movie. I personally don't believe it because putting aside the models and their capabilities, as a lot of people here noted and said, there is the creative process, and the creative process is very crucial on the experience of the viewers of the film. So even if it suggests something, maybe it suggests a specific character, but you want to change it. Maybe it suggests a specific set or a specific wardrobe, but the creative director or the art director want to change it. So it's very crucial that it will be a combined process where actually the creative people, the filmmakers, are controlling the technology and leading it, and not vice versa. I will say that I attended Cannes Festival 2 years ago and this year as well. 2 years ago, AI was a taboo. Like you couldn't even speak about AI in filmmaking or say the word generative AI. In Cannes in May this year, AI dominated a lot of workshop, a lot of players. Everybody was talking about AI. In the AFM this year, they're going to have a massive area that is speaking about AI, um, and and I think it happened because also something I noted at the beginning, it's inevitable. There is risk of using generative AI. There is no doubt. And we need to understand how to mitigate and regulate those risks. It, on the one hand, can reduce job of specific crew members, but also it has the potential of increase capacity. So if a filmmaker can do 2 or 3 production a year, maybe they can do 6 production a year. So more stories can be told and more job and work for all of the crew members. 1 minute. So really need to mitigate it, but it's inevitable. So I believe we need to understand how to mitigate the risk and maybe even change the business model of the industry. Maybe backend should be given to more crew members for the success. But it's probably inevitable. And if already Netflix and Sony and Disney are starting to use this technology, we can assume that it will be dominant in the future and already in the present.
Hi. Thank you very much for the presentation, and I think it's a really cool tool. I agree with you. I believe as well that it's inevitable, that we cannot ignore it. Already in the corporate world, companies are using AI, so there's really no way out, I guess. But as you said, it needs some regulations. And I'm referring to something that you said at the beginning, that maybe if there were some scenes that, I don't know, weren't shot well or had to be redone, they would use AI to do that. So for me, especially being an actress, I find that interesting because I think that actors should have a say in that, like how they redo that scene, especially if it's like going into an intimate scene or whatever they do. So, I mean, this goes beyond your tool here, so this is not up to you, but just generally raising that question. I think it should never be that actors just give away their rights when they sign up for that project, and then they can just do with AI and fix some things and create some scenes that the actors don't approve.
I completely agree with you. And this is where I think that the regulation and sort of firewalling have to be in place. And I do believe that the industry also, the way the industry work, also the business model, how much specific person has a say in what's going on in the film will have to change as well. But this is exactly where regulation and safeguarding have to take place. More question, or we need to cut it? So the pricing model, I won't elaborate now, but basically you can choose whether to pay per production or to pay for a yearly base, and it goes by tiers. So you can choose just, the initial feature just to do the analysis, the coverage, use a bit of the marketing stuff, and then move on as the production process. But it's from a couple of hundreds of dollars to a couple of thousands of dollars. We have more time, or we need to cut? We need to cut.
Everyone, any last words?
Thank you very much for participating and for hearing me and coming, as noted before, blabber about technology and production. And I agree with all of you. There are concerns that we have to understand and we have to take seriously to safeguard all of the amazing creative people on set. But also remember that we can use this technology to our advantage. And this is why I think all of us need to think of how we can safeguard our industry while using this technology to actually make it better. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the first panel of the day. If you could please step outside as we get set for the next panel. And if you have any questions for our guest for today, you can meet him outside. He can answer any questions during that time. Thank you very much. And enjoy the rest of the festival. Once again, if you can step outside, we are getting set for the next panel. We're trying to keep on a time frame. Thank you very much.
Test, test, test. Test, test. Check, check, check. Test, test. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes. I still worship the flame. I say I'm all the work that I love is long ago. Tonight. It's all it's so much. find your man. Before it's over, won't hide your head. 'Cause you waited long enough as I take it to the left. Now you're taking long enough. Because you waited long enough as I take it to the left. Now you're taking to the it just what they meant. It not received that. It just what they meant. Strongest shoulders. You are cold October won't go your blood. 'Cause you make it dangerous when you're looking to the left. Now you're taking to the right. Because you make it dangerous when you're looking to the left. Now you're taking to the right. Just for the see, just for the